Hello and welcome to Crime Watch. I'm Jane Cameron with Sergeant Mike Lovchick of the Buena Park Police Department. We're showing you an interesting part of law enforcement, and that's the hiring process. Of course, you don't just hire anybody who comes in. There's a lengthy process before somebody applies to when they actually get hired.
Right. The process is incredibly thorough and long. I mean, it could take several months before a person actually turns in an application and before they get hired, simply because of all the steps that have to be followed as far as testing procedures and interviews and background investigations, things of that nature. It is a very, very thorough process.
Officer Munoz is part of the hiring team, and you actually do this full-time. It's a special assignment?
Yes, this is my full-time assignment. I've been working with the hiring and training team for about a month, so I'm still new to it, but it's a long process, a lot to learn.
So right now, you've got this orientation meeting for the people that are interested. Do the rules start tonight?
They do. Punctuality, it starts right here. If they don't get here at 6 o'clock when the meeting starts, we close the doors and they get sent home. You know, if they're not punctual to this, we can't expect them to show up to work on time or to go to the appointments that we assign to them. So it all starts right here.
What other things do you look for in a general basis for a good candidate or a candidate who may do something that throws themselves out of the process?
Well, today is just orientation. It's just for them to get information about the hiring process in itself. We don't really, some people come in flip-flops and shorts. We advise them, hey, it's a professional job and they have to dress the part. However, we don't, just because somebody came in jeans or shorts, that doesn't mean that they're going to get disqualified. A lot of people are from the street or from different jobs, and they don't know that they need to come professional. So we don't take it too hard. It's not a problem. But today they're going to get information from the application process to the physical agility test to the written test and then to the actual oral interview. Well, they'll sit in front of a panel. After those steps, then they have we do a background. Everybody gets graded based on their score. There's an eligibility list, and generally it's about 15 to 20 people. And my job and Officer Bernald's job, who are the hiring and training team, we actually go from number 1 to number 2, and we evaluate everybody's backgrounds. We start with, we get thorough and deep into their backgrounds to make sure that they're fit to be police officers.
It's a tough process. I mean, you can see the stress already on their faces, men and women alike. What would you recommend for someone who is applying? What do they need to keep at the top of their list to help themselves to be a successful candidate?
The biggest thing for recruit applicants in itself, I would say, is being physically fit. From here, the ones that get chosen will actually go to the Orange County Sheriff's Academy or Golden West or different academies, and all those academies are very strenuous in physical activity. They're going to run nonstop, they're going to do exercises, and they're going to get tested mentally as well with the learning domains and stuff. So we want to make sure that they don't have to worry about being physically fit. If that's something they're worried about coming in here, then it's an uphill battle already, because they have to make sure that they turn paperwork on time and that they're learning everything that we're showing them and be ready for the academy. So when people come in physically fit, I think that they already have an advantage, because that's not something that they're stressed about.
You mentioned on time again, so I take it that punctuality and following directions is a constant.
Yeah, after the oral interview and they go into backgrounds, they're constantly being evaluated. If they can turn in their paperwork on time, if they're late, if it's all, they're missing information, all that stuff, we're evaluating everything from start to finish. It's only because we do want to hire the best for the Buena Park Police Department.
And that shows when you get the officers out on the street, isn't it, Sergeant? I mean, you have to choose the right ones who eventually end up on the street, because they're protecting you as much as you're protecting them.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, they're the ones, they have our backs when you think about it. We want to make sure that we have competent officers that are out there that know what they're doing and how to do their job. And and it's just so important that we get those great people. And you'd mentioned that, sometimes they make it, sometimes they don't. We've had people that have gone through the entire training process or the entire background process and then into the training process, and then even some who have completed the academy, but they just did not complete field training procedures, and they were let go. So that does happen. So we are very, very strict as to what we expect from our police officers.
So I'm taking a deep breath for you because you're starting a whole new process again and I would imagine the emotions and everything that go on with these candidates.
Yeah.
They all want the job.
If I had to give the candidates advice, is to just be mentally tough. I know there's candidates in there right now that are looking around and seeing 100 people around them, and they think, well, maybe I'm not good enough. That's the mentality that's going to get them, to not move forward in the process. They have to be determined, they have to be persistent, and they have to want it more than everybody else. We only have, we don't have many positions, so we want the best. And if they're already beating themselves by saying, oh, I'm not good enough, then they're not going to make it.
What's interesting is that there's, like Oscar says, there's about 100 people inside there right now, maybe even more. And this is just the first step. And Officer Bernal, we may be able to get a clip of it here. He has a speech that he gives to these recruit candidates that basically says, if you can't do this, we'll shake hands and part friends, but don't waste our time. And it's really almost like the
Last out.
Exactly. Yeah. This is your last out, because otherwise you're going to be wasting our time. You're going to be wasting your time. And I can probably guarantee you that of that 100 people that are in there, there will probably be maybe only about 50 people that will actually turn in applications, or actually they've turned in applications, but they'll continue on with the process. You'll lose quite a bit at this very first meeting, just because we tell them this is what it is. This is what it's all about. If you don't like it, if that's not what you're ready for, door's right there. We'll shake hands and part friends. But at the same time, we look for the best.
So first and foremost, the job, okay? Some of you guys have been here, maybe decided a couple weeks ago you guys want to be police officers. Some of you guys in here probably want to be police officers since you guys were little kids, okay? This is the most rewarding job that you can have. You have an opportunity to make a difference in somebody's life every single day. But I'm also here to tell you right now that this is a very dangerous job. Okay, the last 2 recruits that we've had, that we hired, that went to the academy, for whatever reason, didn't quite think that was a possibility that they could be killed in this job. And it wasn't until they went into pre-academy and an academy staff member took their gun from them that they went home, talked to their wives, thought about it. It wasn't for them to quit. So if you haven't had this talk with your family, you watch cops and you see all the good pursuits and all that fun stuff like that, this profession is completely different than that, okay? There's obviously a lot of media perception that's going on right now. The reality is a lot of people don't want to be police officers anymore. I would say about 5 years ago, this room would have been doubled in attendance for individuals who want to be cops. Okay, we're looking for great people, we're looking for qualified people. Okay, we're looking for people who want to serve the community of Buena Park. But this is a very dangerous job. It's something not to take, hey, I'm really cool, drive fast, wear sunglasses. Okay? If you're in it for those reasons, you're in it for the wrong reason. So, going back to that gentleman's question back there in regards to dress code. Okay, I'm a little bit more different than Miss Burnett back there. She's a little bit more nicer. Okay? You need to be a suit and tie. At all, from this point forward, you should be in a suit and tie. Whether I call you in to turn in some transcripts, whether I call you in just to look at maybe something that wasn't dated, whenever you come into our police department, you have a suit and tie. Throughout the rest of the process, your roll board, your physical agility, to your written test, you should have a suit and tie in your vehicle. You have 2.5 hours to throw on a tie. Go to Carl's Jr., go to McDonald's, dry yourself off, do what you gotta do, throw your suit and tie on. That's gonna be my expectation from you guys. Okay, if that's not for you, that's not your style, no problem. This ain't the place for you guys. Okay? Secondly, throughout the background process, integrity is everything. Okay? If you guys are successful when you guys get through the background process itself, there's going to be a lot of conversations we're going to have during this whole process. If myself or Officer Munoz asks you a question, 99% of the time we already know the answer. So, integrity is everything. If you're caught lying in this profession, you can't testify in court. You're no good to us, you're no good to the citizens of Buena Park, you're you're no good support system, you won't have a job in law enforcement. And it could be a little lie. It could be as much as a lie as, hey, did you take someone's shoes? This is actually a true example. And no, I didn't take your shoes. Well, we caught you on camera taking your shoes. Okay, I took your shoes. You'll never be a cop again. So your habits right now of small, minor lies, maybe stretching the truth, omitting things, you guys need to correct that now. Okay? Raise a hand. Who's been through backgrounds? Not too many. Any kind of background process, any agency. Okay. Not too many. This background is going to be an intense background, nothing like you guys have ever experienced. Okay, I'm going to know more about you than your parents. I'll know more about you than your wife or your husbands, or your boyfriends or your girlfriends, or your kids. Okay, and I say that every single time, and I mean it. That's the truth. We know everything about you. Because you're going to disclose everything to us about it. Because if not, it's going to come out in your background, and you're going to get disqualified for lying. Okay? Your social media accounts. For those of you guys who go on there right now, you guys like commenting on the news feeds about, this is going on, or I don't like this, or maybe tagging your friends in jokes, I can tell you right now, that's all public record. You can't go back and delete it. Okay? If the little top corner, I know everyone here's Facebook's at it. The little top corner, that little global thing that says that's open for everybody to see, if you ever commented on that, or any time in the last 10 years, I'm going to see it. We have ways to look at that stuff. Can't go back and delete it. And good luck trying to go back 10 years and trying to find every single post you commented on that had a little global sign. So, with that being said, start now. This should be a reflection of your character. Start making sure that you guys take the appropriate steps to qualify as a police officer. Okay? Your family will look at you differently. You're going to be the guy or young lady to walk into a barbecue and everybody says the cop is here. You'll be looked at differently, and that's why we look for our individuals who have that moral character. Okay? The academy. We have 2 openings in November. 2 openings right now in November. There's a young lady who just signed a conditional job offer with us. If she's successful in her medical, then she will have a job with us, which leaves us 1 more opening. That means by the time this whole background process is done, from the time you guys do your physical agility, your oral boards, your written test, you guys are looking at approximately a 4 to 6 week background. We're going to try to scout anybody else in that applicant pool and see who we're going to move in to get that 1 spot within 4 to 6 weeks. So I'm here to tell you, if you guys are working on your physical fitness, if you guys are not physically prepared, you guys are already behind the ball. Okay? The Orange County Sheriff's Academy is the academy that we use. Prior to this assignment, I was a little biased. I didn't attend that academy. I thought the academy I attended was good. I can tell you now, doing this assignment, the Orange County Sheriff's Academy is the toughest academy in Southern California.
So I find that interesting. It's almost like having that Uncle Sam poster saying, "I want you," It's like, it's amazing that when you look at that group, there may only be 3 to 6 candidates that you end up hiring.
Yeah, it may not even be 3 or 6. We may hire 1 out of it. There may be 6 people that get through the entire process. That's another thing, the way I look at it too. So
well, and I have to tell you, you didn't see it, and it's not fair to show it, but there were 3 people that showed up late that were turned away. And grown men don't cry, but you could tell it bothered them.
Well, here's the way I look at it. You're trying to set a good impression, okay? And as Officer Bernal states, tells us, he says, you know what? If you thought it was so important that you showed up tonight in T-shirts and flip-flops and shorts, well, then obviously this job isn't that important to you. And I'll be honest with you, I don't know if it's a generational thing or not, but it's one of those things where we see a lot of that of the younger folks.
But you are a paramilitary environment, and it doesn't matter what generation you're from.
Exactly, that's very, very true. We're here because, like you said, we're a paramilitary organization. We want people who impress us. If you feel that it's not important enough to get dressed up or be on time, regardless of your age, whether you're young or old or whatever it is.
And there were a lot of young and old and whatever.
Yeah, you bet. There are a lot of in-betweens too. But it's like I said, if it's not important enough for you to try to impress us like that, then why should we bother with it? Because there are so many people that we can choose from.
Well, you don't owe anybody a job.
Right.
You actually have a gift of giving the job to somebody.
Correct. It's a privilege to be able to do this job, and a privilege to be able to be here to test for these types of jobs.
Recently, this parking lot was not empty, and it was because it was National Night Out.
Right. We had a great time. There were several of our local businesses that came out and participated with us, but every year when we do this, Target is such a wonderful host, and they're very generous with their time and their efforts, and they actually make a donation where we can buy gifts for the kids that are here, or actually school supplies for the kids. And just a great way for us to mingle with the community, meet our neighbors, and be able to say, have fun back at school. But you know what? Again, it's a national event, so obviously we're just a small part of all the police agencies that actually participate. But again, just a lot of fun and very big success.
And a great way to just meet the community and let the police department know that you're part of the community. You're on their side.
Yeah, we actually had quite a bit of our displays that we had. We had a SWAT truck, we had a motorcycle, one of our newer police cars that we had, so the kids can kind of come in it and see all the lights flashing. Again, like I said, we were able to get goodie bags for all the students all the kids that were coming in that were going back to school. But again, yeah, just a great way to interact with your community.
A fun night. So this is it for tonight's show, but we're going to be doing some very interesting things in the future.
Well, in a couple of weeks, there'll be the kickoff for Halloween Haunt. We're already there already.
Right there.
Look where we're at. Yeah, we happen to be driving right next to it here. But come a couple of weeks from now, this is going to be entirely transformed into the good old Halloween Haunt. And usually about this time of year, all the fun traffic that goes along with it. So
yes.
So hopefully we'll be able to talk a little bit about some of the things that you probably should and shouldn't do around here as far as driving and walking and all that stuff. But
I know driving. Avoid the area.
Yeah, as much as you can. But it's a fun month. It's a very busy month for us. It's we not only have that, but we also have Silverado Days coming up in October, and I'm sure we'll probably talk about that next month as well too. But again, it's a great event, and but it is one of our busiest months of the year.
So if you have any questions about tonight's show, you can call the Buena Park Police Department at 562-3901. I keep saying this, but really, there's a lot of good information that comes out. Just recently on the Buena Park Facebook page was the press conference where Sergeant Lovechick talked about the recent arrest of a fugitive for like 19 years or something like that. So, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, all good. You get to find out what the Buena Park Police Department is doing and how your community is doing. So with Sergeant Mike Lovechick, I'm Jane Cameron. Thanks for joining us tonight.